I want to thank you guys for coming back and to the expansion of consciousness. I'm your host, Jason Medlock. And today we have a very, very wonderful guest, special guest that's going to be on with us. But before we start, I just want to, allow you this space, allow you this moment to ponder where you want to move in your life, to ask those questions. Who do I want to be today? And how can I get there? And when you expand your consciousness, when you are able to figure out where the blockages are, whether it be by you doing your own meditation, whether it be by a teacher who's guiding you, and when you lock into that place, and only then, when you feel like you're ready to go and you're ready to move with the actionable tools and advice that you're getting and the teaching that you're getting, then and only then can you expand your thought process, expand your consciousnesses, and open yourself up to the level of training that you need. I want to say that before bringing on our next guest, which is Elizabeth Makepeace, to the expansion of consciousness. And Elizabeth is a healer. She's a teacher and a creator of the Ascendance Code, which empowers people and in particularly women, to reconnect to their higher self wisdom and release that separation of limitation. And with over 25 years of experience, Elizabeth has dedicated her life to guiding others through spiritual awakening, alchemy, and the magical realm of energy. And controlling your energy is big. Knowing how to parse your energy, knowing how to feel the type of energy you have, and does it resonate with you being positive? Can you resonate to a day that you felt as great as you can feel? And you always go back and ask yourself, well, how's my energy that day? So I'm glad Elizabeth will be talking about that. But her personal story includes overcoming life-threatening health challenges, including a brain tumor, and living a life full of synchronicities and miracles. And we like to call those deja vu. But when things are in sync and you pay attention to everything that happens to you and you notice them, then it just makes you that much more in tune in your abilities to experience miracles. And Elizabeth is living, she's a living proof. She's a living proof of the limitless potential within each of us. And she's here to share her journey of transformation and wisdom with us today. So I want to bring on Elizabeth Makepeace, but I want to invite you guys to expand your consciousness, to open up this limited thinking, this limited belief, so that you can receive different tools, different sets of coaching and understanding on how to move from step one to step two. Without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on Elizabeth Makepeace. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Jason?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing awesome. And we can just dive right into it. I gave, I guess, a full throated understanding on what they should expect, but I know you're going to bring even that much more to the heart of the people. But your journey, your journey began with sort of an unexpected encounter with spirit. I was just reading through your bio, and you had this unexpected encounter with spirit. Okay. I'm wondering, can you share what that moment was like and how it changed your life?
My whole life changed. And my whole life changed. You're talking about the moment I felt my dad touch my cheek, I'm assuming, because that was really the first spiritual experience I had outside of this realm.
Mm.
And my dad died when I was 15.
Yes.
He was on a kidney machine. It was unexpected, even though, it was a long time that he had been on the machine. But it was a very interesting journey as a kid because I sort of knew that he was going to pass. And when he did, I was 15 and I had this feeling he was in a library somewhere, which was very unusual. I didn't understand what that meant. And yeah, so fast forward to, I think I was mid 20s and I went and saw a psychic because, it was something that my, a friend was hassling me to go and see this woman. And I didn't believe in them at the time. I didn't have any really, spiritual awareness or anything like that. And I went and saw this woman. And as she was talking to me that Dad was there, I felt him touch my cheek. And it was like, she said, "Oh, did you feel that?" And like, "Yeah, what was that?" And she said, "That was your dad. He wants you to really listen to what we're saying here, what he's saying." And that was the very start of, I got home and there was 2 or 3 days of people touching me and actually feeling this invisible realm that I was totally unaware of before. And that was the start of my journey, and I had to go on that by myself because she wouldn't let me go back. I thought that she would let me come back, and I now understand that I would have used her for a crutch. So everything that I experienced from that moment on, there was a lot of personal development and spiritual development from experience rather than from what I'd been told from somebody else.
I love it. And you mentioned these experiences between these veiled lives. And speaking of in between the veils, you mentioned at one point that the veils have thinned for you.
Mm.
Can you talk about what that means and what advice would you give someone starting to sense their connection to the unseen?
So, what it means to me is being very acutely aware
Mm.
of the field, and the field that's beyond the matrix that we're in. This limited, as you were saying in your introduction, that limited um, entanglement that we're in. We're in this conditioning that's like a sacred geometry in itself of information, thoughts and beliefs that are holding us in a pattern of behavior as personal um, identity, but then as a collective as well, right? In the world. And so when we are able to see that and feel that dilute, and we can tangibly feel that we're not alone, that I can walk into a room and feel if there's energies. I can, clear entities from people's bodies. I can, support them to release so that they can feel themselves at that higher vibration and raise their consciousness so that there is more, awareness of the subtleties of their limitations and where it is in their chakras and all of those things. So the advice I would be giving to all of your listeners is the very first thing is to start setting the intention of just recognizing that there is way more than our physical body, physical world, the planet. There is so much more on right here. Right here, we have so many different dimensions that we can access. And we are moving into that level of consciousness for those that are ready, willing, and prepared.
Mm. And setting your intentions is a big part of it. And I've had people say to me, okay, once I set my intentions, then what? And I said, okay, let's back. Um, Developing a base first. Maybe it's meditation, maybe it's yoga, maybe it's some sort of prayer to move your body into a lower state of calming the body into this deep relaxed state. I shouldn't say lower, but a deep relaxed state, so that you can sense things. One of them meaning the thin veil. If you're conditioned to relaxing in this state, you're able to really, really connect with your body and feel the things around you. Then you start to set your intention. So I try to give them actionable exercises to do, and then start setting your intention so then you can notice the things that come after that. And that's the same way we do it in remote viewing, setting our intentions. But before we even set our intentions, we've conditioned our mind and our subconscious to so that we can sense who's talking to us, the conscious mind or the subconscious mind. And the only way you can do that is quieten the mind and then start to set your intention. So I just wanted to add that little bit. And I keep reading about the Ascendance Code. And I know it's a powerful part of your work. Can you explain that to us, what that is? And also, Elizabeth, how does it help people align with their higher self knowledge?
So the Ascendance Code is all about releasing the energy that's holding us back, right? So it's anything that is of the unconscious, these behaviors and patterns that we have been conditioned from childhood, but also through our biology, through our DNA. We have these codes of behavior, um, all the way from, generations past. And, science is starting to come into play with this and recognize over the last couple of decades, so we've got epigenetics that's recognizing that we hold emotions and codes of information in our DNA as well. And so through that process, it's our conditioning from our childhood. It's also generational history, but it's also past lives. It could be multidimensional. There's things that we are locked into and held in fear or lower vibrational emotions. And so as I work with people, I do a process called recoding. And that is going to the source of where those codes are in the first place. So we have access to, we've got our unconscious that doesn't want to change, right? With all the codes of limitation. We've got our conscious that does want to change and wants to grow and expand and explore and be all that we possibly can be. And then we've got this other field that, you could say it's the quantum field. You could say it's your higher self when you personalize it. I call it the superconscious. And at the superconscious level, we are all the same. It's this fluid energy that we're contained in forever and a day and all the things, right? Where all of the codes of all of creation are. And so when we've got a code in us that's saying, I'm not good enough and I have to keep working hard to get what I want, or whatever the belief might be, there's a code for that that's locked into our unconscious, but it actually can be accessed from the superconscious. So I go into the superconscious, we clear the code, we neutralize it so that that is now just like when you switch a, cancer cell off, the gene, it's now neutralized that so that our very true nature and purpose, our essence, can come back as the blueprint rather than the the static pattern that was brought to us through our genes, that we sort of grew up into. So it's releasing all of them so that we can become, a higher vibration, a higher consciousness, and then expand into the universe of limitation, unlimited energy.
Beautiful. And it reminds me of I'm a level 2 quantum healing hypnotist, the technique that Dolores Cannon has pioneered for more than 50 years. And just hearing you talk reminds me of the same process. We speak directly with the supermind, the higher self, the higher conscience, while we have the client in this deep somnambulistic state, this deep theta, and accessing the higher self, the supermind, becomes a part of how we help change the dynamic of the person, the PTSD, the trauma, the whatever. But I'm so fascinated with this ascension code process, and just just very, very excited to hear other practitioners that work closely with the subconscious mind, the higher self, trying to change coding that may not be as helpful to people into something that they want so they can excel in their lives. And you're no stranger to excelling and overcoming yourself. Just like I was reading that you overcame a number of health challenges, including, I think you released a fibroid on your own, and you recovered from a brain tumor. So I'm interested to know, and I know the audience is too, how did you use your connection to the higher self to navigate these experiences?
I think after 25 years of connecting, it's a very natural process, right?
Mhm.
Just we're here as an individual. This is the dichotomy of life, right? We're here as an individual having an individual experience, and we are part of this bigger,
Christ
more
consciousness.
Christ consciousness, right? Absolutely. And so both times, as soon as I had awareness of what was going on, you know, as a human, we do human things, right?
Mhm.
We are not perfect, and as soon as you start trying to be perfect, then you're in your dysfunction, right? Like, we are on this planet in a 3 and 4D dimension, and this is one of the lowest vibrations that you can be at to be conscious, and so
It's like
that's
we're
the
in
first
mud.
thing. Yeah, that's right. It's pretty heavy down here. And so, we live our lives, and then you go, something's going on with my body. And it means I need to be conscious and to really tap in. So, for example, with the 4.5 centimeter brain tumor, I'd been having experiences that I'd had a doctor say, that's nothing medical, and that was enough for me to think, oh well, I need to work it out myself. I have been a massage therapist, or I had been a massage therapist for 25 years. I don't practice anymore. So I was thinking, oh well, it's maybe something to do with my atlas, the first vertebrae, and so I was doing all these things to sort of try and rectify the situation, and getting minor results, at different times. So therefore thinking that I was onto something, and then have to navigate something else or whatever. But then it got to a point where it was getting to a place where I had a moment where my consciousness, I could have fainted, sort of thing. Okay, I think I need to go and see someone, right? And so that's when the magic happened, because when you're in alignment with your higher self, with your collective consciousness, this super conscious energy, when you are just part of that, the field is always available and always open to you. And so you're just in flow, even when there's moments that you're just being human. So when I had that moment and I said, I need to do something, my higher self already knew the program, already knew that this was the moment, already knew that I'm a bit stubborn, that it was going to take me a while, like I already had it all planned out for me. So someone that doesn't go to the doctor, right? And it was just on the edges of COVID, like near the end of that. So there was, issues about going to doctors and all that sort of stuff. I just looked up and Googled the nearest doctor. Well, I just happened to find one that I could get in that day within a couple of hours, and just happened to be in neurosurgery for 4 years prior to being a GP. So because you're in that awareness, you're already tapped in, you're tuned in, when you clear the stuff that's holding you back and the limitations and you're just in the field, those things are just a given. Like it's not something that I even consider anymore, that I'm always looked after. I just know that. So, I go in, see the doctor, he goes, there's something going on, you need to have an appointment the next day to have a CT scan. They give me a CT scan, they ring me up and say, hey, you've got this piece of fruit in your head, you need to go to emergency. He tells me straight away that, it's something that you've got to go and pack your bags. You won't find a neurosurgeon in the emergency on a Friday afternoon. Well, who turns up but a neurosurgeon? He does all the tests. He can't believe that I've only got, headaches and nothing else. It was just one thing after the other. I mean, I'm talking, I had a 5-figure payout come into my bank account all of a sudden that I wasn't expecting while I was sitting in the hospital bed, having to have 2 months off work. The last nurse I saw, her name was Angel. The first one I opened my eyes to, her name was Crystal. The surgeon said that it just popped out at her. She got the whole thing, no treatment afterwards, no pain, nothing. It was just like this flow that was, just being part of my experience. I didn't label it as fatal, as a trauma. I didn't label it as anything. It was just an experience I was having.
And the question would be, how can someone begin to tap into that kind of flow? And you've answered it. It's when you do the recoding, and then they can clear these blockages or clear these hindrances that they have, and they can find themselves able to begin to tap into this kind of flow and trust their intuitive guidance.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I sort of see it as being a tethered soul. We've got these little vibrations on the outskirts or deep within at different parts of our auric field within our DNA that are sort of weighted down because they've been in our family history for generations and generations. You're holding them for past lives and, constantly trying to fix this same thing over and over again in each life. And so, like, when you go and see an acupuncturist, right, they take your pulse and they check out and they go, there's a block. They put a needle in and that dissipates, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Or you can
when
tap.
yes, you can tap, right? And so that works in a place of in the moment, but to get down to the core of it and go to where the essence of it in your grandfather's grandfather's grandfather, right, and way back to the origin of the first human, even, maybe. So to release that information from the core of where it came from, it's like pulling that string off, and the balloon can now start, the hot air balloon starts moving as you take these plugs out, right? And so they then start coming in. So instead of it being this distorted tune and harmony, it's, this chaotic frequency. You're pulling those plugs out and you're allowing more of your own light in. And so now you've got this harmonic convergence happening, right?
In your opinion, in your professional opinion, Elizabeth, this whole mystical world, this unseen world, how do you merge this mystical world, this unseen world that we're talking about, with day-to-day tasks of, let's say, a person's normal life? And what does that look like for someone who is new to this type of path?
As you were saying before, having some sort of mindfulness training or practice, something that's going to support you in the morning to start your day. Because as soon as we wake up, today's society often it's this, right? They're straight on their phone, looking and being in social media, and now you're in somebody else's frequency. Looking at your emails, you're in somebody else's frequency. You're being influenced by energy outside of yourself. So to be able to unplug and to be in your own energy, it means being consciously aware to do some sort of practice. If that means waking up and making sure that you're not on your phone or anything, not plugged into anything for an hour, going out in nature, spending time being conscious of what it is you want your day to look like, being present to that, visualizing it, feeling it. What does it feel like today? What do I want to experience today? And really setting the intention, setting that scene so that you're being the predominant creator in your life. You're the one that's choosing your life, not something external to yourself. So for those that are just on the start of the path, it's where is your energy? Where is your power? Just asking yourself in those moments, where am I giving my power away? Or where is my power right now? Is it here inside of me? Am I contained? Am I holding? Am I even in my body? Because, things like anxiety and stress, all this fight, flight, fawn, freeze, all of that energy, our energy field starts, our body stays here, and all the rest of us is leaving the body because it's like, man, I'm out of here. This is not fun, right? And so we're half in and half out, and we're not grounded. And so no wonder we can't access our memory. No wonder we are struggling to be in our own choices. All of those things is because we're not even able to access our own energy. But when you can just pause and breathe and relax and allow yourself to come back into your body, then you can access your intuition, your wisdom, your higher knowing, your guidance. And it's all internal rather than outside of yourself.
Yeah, this brings me to something that I read that you often speak about, and that's time collapsing, uh,
Hmm.
and the experiencing this accelerated manifestation. Can you explain how that process works, and how someone might begin to experience it also?
The way I see it, feel it, experience it, and understand it, it's simple. It really is, because you think our normal everyday,
Yeah.
we are, just say someone, their normal days, they wake up and they're on their phone, or they're thinking about the interview that they've got to go to, or their job at, what's going on at work. And so they're rushing and they're eating their breakfast and they're brushing their teeth and they're totally unconscious, and they get to work, and the next thing, they're interacting with everybody in work or whatever. In those moments, their brain is hijacked, right? They're thinking of the day, but how the day is because of the previous day and their unconscious patterning and conditioning of, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And maybe I'm not good enough to do that thing that I want to in the back, in a couple of weeks, and all this stuff that's going on. And so all of those frequencies are, as I was saying before, like they're scattered energy and they're just all over the place. So if you want to create the life that you love, just say, you want to meet your divine partner, or, start a business or whatever it might be. So you've got this thing here and you are here in your current reality. You're not just going, I'm going from here to here. You're not just moving and flowing in that direction.
Right.
You're going like this. You're just all over the place because it's totally unfocused and you're hijacked everywhere. When you can let go of all of those thoughts, beliefs, conditioning, definitions, labels, all the things that, contracts that we've got with other people, agreements, all this stuff that we've got, when you can let go of that, that's holding you in this pattern of chaos, you are then just going, here's my desired end result. Here's my current reality. And I am focused on getting to there. And because you're focused, because you're laser, there's a pinpoint reality and your intention is to go there, there is just time and space. But all that chaos that pulls you out of the way releases. And now it takes you a third of the time because you're focused on what you want to create.
Wow.
There is, yeah, it's
Wow.
that time, and part of that is also being aware that we are, as I was saying before, when you can access, the field that created planets and solar systems and galaxies and other beings, and when you can access that and know that you are part of it, not just separate from it, that's when things just really start. That's the harmonic energy of being in a sacred tune. You're tuned in and you're toned to that particular frequency.
Wow, incredible. Elizabeth, I want to shift a little bit and let's talk about some of the things that you offer, your programs, your website. How can people find you? I know about the three powers process that you have and the conscious creator mastermind course. So you got a lot out there, the golden sessions and so forth. And your story that you tell includes attracting your dream partner through energetic alignment. You talk about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Don't hold back. Get the audience involved. What are you doing out here? And let people know how they can connect with you and all the things, all the wonderful modalities you practice.
So my, library or my range of courses starts from the very start. For those that are just sort of waking up, really wanting to understand self-awareness and how to work with energy, I've got a program called Awaken the Lioness. And I've actually, before that, I've even got a little it's 5 days called Boundaries of Love, so that you can just start working on your boundaries. That's just like a mini course. But then I sort of take people on a journey of ascension.
Mm.
So Awaken the Lioness is all about self-awareness and being aware of the three powers and where your power lies. We then can move into, once you're aware of your self-awareness and who you are, we look at creating, right? So then you can go into conscious creator, where it's a lot of recoding, clearing the stuff that's getting in the way, and then really choosing what it is that you want to create. So that's a very structured course, and it's all about alchemy and structure and law of attraction and all of those things. There's little side shoots. So I've got Calling in the One for those that want to meet their amazing, beautiful partner, like I did at the beach. And then I've also got the Golden Program, and this is where I work one-on-one with people that have really got that next level. They know what they want. They're very focused, and they've got a mission that they really want to collapse time and work on getting their project, their love, all of those things.
That's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. So I've got that as well. So that's a course where you basically get conscious creator, and then you get to work with me one-on-one. And then on top of that, I've got another one called Quantum Accelerator, and that's a very intimate group. We have only about 5 or 6 people in at a time, and that's working in a collective as well. But you get 24-hour access to me basically through a Telegram chat, and ask any questions, and just really work on that deeper level.
Okay. I'm not done with you yet. What's your website? We need to put that out there.
Oh, yes, ElizabethEleanor.com, and Eleanor is a little bit different. It's ELENOR.
Okay. .com. And let's put it out there right now. There we go. ElizabethEleanor.com.
Yes.
ElizabethEleanor.com. Make sure, and we're speaking directly to the audience. There are a number of people that come on this show all over the world, different coaches, different healers, different mindset experts, people who practice RTT therapy, you name it. And I like what you do, Elizabeth. And we've known what coding is, and there's a lot of different variations of this particular modality.
Hmm.
But the way you resonate with me, and not that you resonate with everybody, but that's why I want people to come on this show, because your message will touch someone,
Hmm.
and one person can't service everybody, and you have to feel this connection, this within the vibration on who you mesh with. And I'm so glad that you could come on and talk about this. www.elizabetheleanor.com. And one more thing, uh, for people who feel stuck, okay, in their current circumstance, what would, in your opinion, be the first step they should take to tap into their magic, so to speak, so that they can start creating the life that they desire?
The very first thing is to breathe, to just have a moment to stop and pause and breathe. Just take one moment, one breath, and pause.
Mm,
And then every morning, and you know, choose what it is that you want to create. What does my day look like? What does living the life I love feel like? Really become the person that's having that. And when you are having moments where you're experiencing something that you don't want to experience, take that moment, pause, stop, breathe, and go, how do I want to experience this instead?
mm,
That's
awesome.
as simple as it is. And it can be very complicated, right? Because if there's a lot of resistance, then that's challenging. But at least start getting into the practice of creating a responsive mind, being able to stop, pause, breathe. How do I choose to experience this instead?
Absolutely beautiful. Do you have any last words you want to say to the audience? Anything new you have coming up? I know you want them to get on that website and look at what you have and book a session or consultation, but is there anything else you want to leave with the audience before we get out of here?
I have an event coming up, but I don't know when this is released. So I have an event called Child of the New Moon coming up at the end of
Okay.
the month, and that's going to be just 7 days of really tapping into your intuition and discovering how you are intuitive. I will be running it again, so if they miss this one, that there's another one that they can jump in.
Awesome. Well, Elizabeth, thank you for being a guest on the expansion of consciousness. We were, I mean, privileged to have you on. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to move you to the back. I'm going to do this outro. So I'm going to say some more beautiful things about you. So you don't want to miss it. So hang tight for 1 second. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, 1 second. Wow. I just want to thank you, meaning the audience, for joining us just for such an inspiring conversation with Elizabeth Makepeace and her journey from overcoming life-threatening health challenges to a life filled with synchronicities and magic. It reminds us that we all have the power to reconnect with our higher self knowledge. And we can all take to heart Elizabeth's message about releasing the illusion of separation. and stepping into our full potential. And when you have the releasing that illusion of separation, that's typically fear, which is just an illusion. So if today's episode sparks something in you, don't hesitate to take action. And remember to follow the expansion of consciousness on your favorite podcast platform. We're on YouTube at Expansion of Consciousness. We're on Instagram at Expansion of Consciousness and Expansions of Consciousness on Facebook. Whichever platform you like, you can find out information. And I want you to share this episode with someone who needs to hear it, and leave a review to let us know your thoughts. And if you want to work with Elizabeth and learn more about her work or the Ascendance Code, visit her online. Okay. And and check her out. But stay tuned for more insightful guests. And this is what we're building this season 5 platform. We want to have more uh, give it to you straightforward information that can help you become better. And as always, keep expanding your consciousness and trust, relax, and discover. Thank you so much, and good night.